Hi guys. So I have been working on some other stuff for a while, so didn't make any video. But today here I am, and today the basic functionalities which we wanted to cover for this mLoad tool. So I hope you would have checked this tool by now. I mean, cloning this Git repository or downloading and then building and then testing that. So if you have not done so, I highly encourage you to that. This is a really there are only a few such tools out there which can accomplish this task of uploading custom metadata to Salesforce. Otherwise, that has to be done manually. So our tool, the basic functionality is complete as of today. So I will go through a quick demo and what things I have built I'll show you, and then we'll talk about some of the code changes which I have done, and then we'll take it from there. So as usual, here is my NetBeans, and my project is already open, so I will just run this. Some of the things I have done is I have removed launch4j task from this to build the exe, because later on I think that I would be supporting NSIS. NSIS means it's another tool to build the kind of an installer for Windows. Because Windows applications, they would have this wizards, means you double click the exe and then screens come up and the tool is installed. So we will go that route, NSIS. So that's why for now I am rolling back it to jar executable only, which can run in any platform. And launch4j, it was specifically to build the exe, so it wouldn't create the jar. So jar can be created in Gradle default build also, but it would make the jar only for the main file, the main executable file, the class which is having the main method. But there is a another Gradle configuration. So we call it fat jar. So let me show you quickly that the changes which we have done in Gradle. This is our Gradle build file. So this is the task that I have added, and it's a fat jar. How it is different from normal jar is, normal jar would generate the jar for that file, particular file only, the main file, and then we can double click that and run that also. But fat jar, what it does is it packs all the classes and all the jars into a one single jar file. So I'm sure there would be other configuration also, means without using fat jar also there can be a single jar can be made, but I'm not aware about that. I'm a Salesforce guy, so I need to just look for something which works for me and then just build it. So the fat jar, this is the configuration for that, means it just looks for our main file as usual, which is our default build also. So whenever we launch this project from the NetBeans, so it will look for the same main file basically. Other than that, we have that's it, and I removed, as you can see down here, I have removed the launch4j task also. So in order to run this, so I will go to the command prompt. So it's in my documents folder, mLoad, and right click it and then git bash. So here is a shortcut. If you have git bash installed, so you just have to right click on the folder and then select this option, git bash. So it would automatically open the terminal inside the repository. As you can see over here, we are inside mLoad, even though that is not open here. So even if I go back, so it's already inside that. So in order to run that task, we type, first of all, let's clean that project, Gradle clean, so that it will remove the build directory if we have any previous build present over there. So it will take a few seconds. So build is done, and we will now do Gradle fat jar. So as per that, I have also updated the README file, so that when you guys come along and if you need any guidance how to run the demo, so here I have updated these last two steps: command prompt and then type Gradle fat jar, and then the project. This is the project location, and build an lib folder. So let's go there. This is our project mLoad build lib. So this is our jar file, and here is the version number I am keeping, so that next release we will have it version maybe 1.1 or something. Double click that and it will run. Great. So that's very simple, and the executable size is a little bit increased here, because as I said, it packs all the Java class files and all the libraries, everything into a single unit. So that we can give it to someone, and he can just double click and run it. So I'm planning to host it somewhere, and so far I have not found any free hosting service. There is a bin tray is there for Java projects, but it costs something. And so if you guys know anything how to host your Java application someplace, so you can suggest me. I've heard that Docker or some other some other companies there, they also support something like that, but I have not tested how it works. So that's there, our executable file. You can give it to your friends or anyone in your project, and they can run the application. So if you notice, there are some changes here, even though the landing page looks the same. But when you go for any of this, like select CSV, let's say, so it will give you this prompt. So I have added one more prompt here, server URL. Previously, I used to support only the developer org. So the URL had been is hard coded in the logic itself. So now it's taking from this input. So it can be for developer, or it can be login.salesforce.com. Of course, you have to have this HTTPS, this full URL you have to provide. HTTPS : login.salesforce.com. That's it. And for a sandbox, you would need HTTPS : test.salesforce.com. And for custom URL, suppose you have configured some custom URL in your org or your Salesforce instance, so you have to give that one. And rest everything is same. So once you log in, you go to the second screen, and as usual, as per our demo, so it would do that. Okay, let's see what else I have. Maybe in future we will also support drag and drop of CSV files. Right now we can just we have to select from their file explorer that button over there. In the code there are some changes, of course, and what happens is, previously how we achieve this routing from the login page to the landing, from the landing page to the login. So means in the code there was a specific means these lines of code. So in that I used to have the URL just written over there. Now what I have done is I have created a separate file which is our router, and that router, it can be extended by any other classes. So here I am inheriting that router by extending that. So when I want to go to a next screen, I just have to do this. I just have to provide the path name, and here I am providing that I want to go to the default means the landing page, and then I just go there. So it's simple. And here our configuration is provided. Now for login, this would be our path name, and default would be the landing page. And this is nothing but just the package name. So in the directory structure, so here is our resources. So As you can see, com.login, login.fxml, and for landing page we have something similar. So that's for routing. And yeah, I also have updated the processing of the CSV file. CSV file, we are using the CSV reader only, and but in CSV what happens is the first row would be the headers. So they would be the developer name, label, and the field API names for the other custom fields. So previously means you had to have the developer name and label in the first and the second column. Now that dependency is removed, and I'm means in this logic. So we take all the array, means the entire structure, that the data part and the header part separately, and data we can process irrespective of whether the column is in the first and second order, or it's just in any order. So here I'm doing that check. So I check which column the data is coming for with respect to which column, and then we are processing that. So this is better logic. So due to this, the columns can be in any order. Otherwise, previously it was a limitation. So when you try to upload your CSV file, it may not work. So now it will work. Okay, so in code, that's all. And one more thing is, if you would have noticed, so here in our repository we have this nice little icon that's coming from Travis CI. CI stands for continuous integration. So it shows that our means this current source code, this entire source code, when I am uploading that, when I am making changes, so actually the build is passing. It means we will not get any compilation error, but the logic and all, it needs testing and everything. So I have not created any testing for that. We have to do that. Maybe in future we will do a unit test using our JUnit, good old JUnit testing framework. So for now the build is passing, it means the compilation is successful. So if you see this green icon, it means that you can download this source code safely with the confidence that it will compile. Of course, you have to have your environment variable Java path and Gradle underscore home set, and Gradle binary and Java binary has to be added to the system path. So otherwise, in code you will not have any compilation error if you have environment set up correctly. Okay, that's all, guys. I think with this update, means I'm supporting all the features that are required for the custom metadata upload. You have the jar file, you build it this way, and sometimes I will provide a link to download that for other users who are not from a technical background and admin or consultants. So they do not need to go through all this build process, but for now we have this build process only, and it's fairly simple. Unless I find a hosting platform, so this is the process we have, and it's very fairly simple. So if you find any difficult, you can ask me in the comment section. And this is a one-time setup. After that, means once you build that jar file, so you wouldn't need to do this. Means you can keep that jar file anywhere, and it will run. Always it will run. So I will provide some links sometimes. Sometimes I will means so that this build process can be minimized, and it can upload only custom metadata. I'm supporting only that particular metadata type. I'm not supporting custom objects or custom settings and accounts or other standard objects. So this is specifically for uploading custom data only, custom data metadata only. So if you want more features in that, do let me know. And if you want to contribute in this project, what you have to do is you have to fork this repo. There is a fork button over here, and then you have to put your features, which features you want, and once you make them, so that you can send me a pull request, and I will test that out. And for now we do not have unit testing, So I will have to test it manually, and once I find that okay, it's working perfectly and it's not clashing with any other components, because in Git we have this visibility. We can see how the code is getting changed. We can do diff, means difference between the source files. So if everything is perfect, I can just merge it in my repository. So that's how you get started with the open source project. So the question is, why someone would want to do any of this, and what's the point, and what do you learn out of that? You can get a job without knowing, means without having the ability to create a software. Like we have created a desktop application, so even if you can't create a desktop application, so it's not due to lack of technical skills, it's mostly due to interest. So the thing is, if you can build something, so the it almost it gives you a real time experience. So when you get into a project, or when you for someone, for some company or your own, so you would not get stuck anywhere. So you would not means you would have that skill set, so that you can figure things out on your own. So that's the benefit you get, and you will have this ability to just build out anything. You do not have to look for someone, or wait for something, or do it in a tedious process, or there are many other things. So if you have that ability to build something, so that's how you get started. You start with open source projects only. So in GitHub, it's a very good platform. You get to find so many open source projects, and that's how I got started. I would look for the repositories, and what they have done, and then I will fork their repository, and I will build that in my system. Then I will see the directory structure, how they are, which language, and which build tool configuration, and all these things I will see, and then that's how I learn. And today, after 3-4 years, I have been writing code, and I started writing code back in 2000, 2008 itself. I started basic C. I started, and then after 2 years, I was very good in C and Bash shell scripting. I was still in college at that time, so but I never took participation in means open source thing until towards just a year before this. So I started making small applications, and then desktop applications, mobile applications, sometimes web application, and these days we have a Node.js, so we can build websites completely using JavaScript only. So that's how. And in my project also, in my job, I never get stuck anywhere. Means if I get any specific requirement that okay, this needs to be done, I do not have to ask anyone how would I achieve this. And for about 2 years, I guess, so it never occurred to me that I should ask something to someone to in order to get my stuff done. It's not a means I feel pride in that I do not need to ask someone, but the basic thing is it saves your time. If you have the ability, so the time it would take for you to build that thing on your own. So in order to ask someone, and they would have their own job, the better the person is, the better the developer, he would be that much busy. So it would be difficult, means if you can ask him to work on some stuff, so that gets delayed. But you can achieve in just 2-3 hours, so that will take some weeks. So that's why you should be a little hardcore and learn these things, research out, and it will be difficult. I agree with that. It will be difficult. Any requirement comes, so initially it will be difficult. But once you start digging, so your brain, it will rewire itself, and it will start thinking in a way that you will find a solution. So that's how this whole thing works. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, this software development using Java series, and I hope you really picked a thing or two. So I didn't cover basics of Java, like what is Java, how to install JDK, how to set up NetBeans. So I just completely skipped over them, and even I didn't cover what is Swing, because previously we used Swing framework and any of the build tools specifically, or even Java FX per se. But those are irrelevant. Means I let me be honest here. Those are just irrelevant. You do not learn and then build. You take a target and then start building, and in that process you learn. So thank you for your time, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.